I'm reacting like this to K-pop. Holy cow. Bora hey, welcome back BTS Army friends and everybody. If you've never heard of BTS, they are this interesting is the word. They're this enormous, huge Korean band that has international popularity. We've reviewed a few of their videos, and we're going to be diving into one of their videos that's been recommended to us a whole bunch called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Here we go.
Well, I've seen this part before.
Yeah, my favorite part. It's amazing. Their shirts look really expensive.
Is that what I was sitting there just looking at what's going on around them. I was like, I wish museums were this interesting in person as this set of a museum they've built. Because real museums, it's like, okay, everything's on the sides and it's all roped off so no one can actually go close to anything.
I've actually been to quite a few museums just like this.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, in Japan, Italy.
So it's just the U.S. that says the museums have to be
I'm trying to think. There's some pretty cool museums out there. Yeah.
That and what is that tapping in the background? I'm sure they'll show us, but I'm interested.
It's probably just a cockroach.
Oh, and the tapping stopped.
It's the bicycle. It's the bicycle.
It's the bike.
내 피땀 눈물 내 마지막 춤을 다 가져가 내 피땀 눈물 내 차가운 숨을 다 가져가 내 피땀 눈물 잘 알고 있어 이건 나를 벌받게 할 줄 Bitches and cream, sweeter than sweet Chocolate cheeks and chocolate wings But 너의 날개는 악마의 걸 너의 그 sweet 앞엔 비려비려 Kiss me 아파도 돼 어서 날 조여줘 더 이상 아플 수도 없게 Baby 취해도 돼 이제 널 들이켜 목기스키 너 위스키 내 피땀 눈물 내 마지막 춤을 다 가져가 내 피땀 눈물 내 차가운 숨을 다 가져가 원내 money 원내 money
All right, I feel like I could just sit and watch through the entire thing without reacting at all.
I know. It's problematic because it's like I want to say things, but at the same time, I just don't want to stop it.
Right. I think that was the longest we've gone for any of our music reaction videos, just sitting and watching it. And I'm impressed by these guys.
Thoroughly impressed by these.
I hate to just sound like a broken record or like some kind of just like K-pop shill or something, but I have to say, like, from just the very beginning with the museum and everything, the scenery.
Well, even like when the picture, who was looking at the picture and it's just panning around him, as you can tell, he's just like struck by something in this image, right?
Yeah.
And the upcoming tones before the music dropped, and then the tones that went away before the actual song started, those tones were distinctly like Christian, classical Christian music tones that you could hear, and you're hearing what's in his mind, looking at this image that looks like a classical Christian. It was beautifully done.
It's really cool. And then they shift to the other area, which still has this classical feel, but a more modern take on it, because they're all like kind of sitting around in there, and you're like, oh, they're still in a place like this museum, and so you're mixing these feels, and it's really cool. I really loved that transition that went like down to the next scene, and it was like it was seamless.
Yes.
Like, man, and like right from the beginning with the beginning tones that they sing there, of course, when they pass kind of just walking around and goofing off and stuff, which is also part of it too, you know. The vocal qualities in here are just so crystal clear.
And diverse.
Yes. You go from that to kind of the more poppy sound to the almost rapping sound.
The rapping sound, yes.
And you back and forth, a little mix of Korean, a little mix of English, and like, whew, I'm a little bit blown away. Out of the 3 songs that we've done, I think this might be my favorite.
So far it is. I was actually thinking while we were watching this one, this was my favorite, to where I was going, this is one I might go to my car and add to my playlist when I get in my car.
Yeah,
this is a good song.
The whole time it was playing, I was like, I don't want to pause it to talk, but
I need to talk.
I know we're supposed to, otherwise we're just playing the song.
It was okay. And then right from the start, so they're in the museum, right?
Yeah.
And then the music starts, and we're reading the subtitles, right? But the subtitles say, just all my blood, all my sweat and tears, just take it. And them in the museum, as they are currently taking in with their eyes and their ears all of the blood, sweat, and tears of other people that they have put into this museum, that they have put out, those people have put out and said, just take it. Just look at it. Just absorb the effort I have made for you. And I think the placement in a museum was just perfect for those opening lines.
Yeah, well, and then you look at some of the imagery that they have. Like they have the I can't remember the name of this statue, but it's Mary holding the broken Jesus.
Okay.
In the back. Okay. That was displayed in the back, and then the imagery of the funeral veil.
Oh, is that what that was? I was sitting there going, what is this?
Yeah.
That makes sense, though.
It's like the imagery of the funeral veil when the guy's like underneath, what do they call it, like the veil of Turin or whatever, you know?
Yes.
It's just like, wow, like these themes, and you can imagine how these guys are feeling, right? Like you can imagine with what they've been through over the last decade or more, you know, having to set this expectation and just being like, look, I'm just going to give of this. And you see that, getting to see from their perspective of seeing like, okay, look, I'm getting to see this. And we all feel that in this big kind of loop. And it's like, man, where do I get to be? Do I get to be part of that loop too? Like, do I get to take something and just like give it my all to somebody so that they can be like, wow, let me give it my all to the next person. And then just like feeds over and around. I mean, it's like kind of inspiring to think of it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I love the, like you said, the diversity of the musical styles in one place.
The singing versus like the rapping, and the way that the musical styles just hit almost like not quite within the same verse, within sections of the verse.
Yeah.
Right? You'll have completely different musical styles hit.
Only a few bands have been able to really pull that off.
Yes.
Only a few bands have even tried to pull that off.
Yes. And one of my favorite bands of all time, we talked about this band last week, was Linkin Park. And they've pulled off this mixing of genres so beautifully.
Right.
All right, Army, you might be getting me here, okay? This might be the part where I'm willing to just like step in and say, you guys win. Like, these BTS is so good.
Yeah, it's not just, like I said, at the beginning, like with how clear it was, you know, just those tones. And then you get a little bit of that roughness too. With like, and you get some of that like kind of spiritual almost lyrics, right? That come in and talk about these themes and then kind of break it down in almost a gritty way. Yeah. You know, it's not like 3 Days Grace or Breaking Benjamin or something, but it's still like a way that's like, boom, I'm talking human right now. I'm talking person. Let's take it from like the divine to the level of earth, and let's just like mix those up and set it spinning.
Okay, I'm ready.
You got
to keep
me.
going.
You killed me.
Keep going. Because that
It's like painted in the background.
yes, right there.
Okay, I love that that vocal thing that they're doing, like the money, yeah. You know,
Yes,
like
yes.
stretching that out and just kind of like changing that.
Instead of just singing it, they take that last note and pull it into something more.
Yeah, it does something to you. You're just like, oh, you're like, woohoo.
All right, this scene we're looking at, minute 2:36 here. There's or 2 minute 36 seconds in. There is a background here that when I watched it, I went, oh wow, that was a really cool green screen. This is not green screened. This is actual effects. Look at the reflection of the light onto the ground and onto their chairs. That's not green screen, that's real. They built that for this scene. So far, we've seen 2 seconds of it. And they built this entire scene for it. Practical effects make such an impact over special effects, which are so much easier and cheaper to do.
Right.
Look at the original Star Wars trilogy versus the prequel trilogy, where they went overboard with the digital creation and especially how badly it's aged, that digital effort they put into the prequel trilogy. This will never age. This is a real practical effect, and I love the white light, which is obviously coming from somewhere different in a way that is made so that you can't see any reflection from the pink around them.
You're pointing right at the people there. They don't
Right
see that
at
we're
you
looking
people.
at.
Sorry. But on the table where they are sitting, there is a white light that is washing out all of the light reflecting out of the other locations. It's emphasizing this point is what I want you to focus on, even though all that effort went into the scene.
And I'm really loving the contrast here between the dark and the light, the white, and then you have this like etheric pink and like sunset. It's kind of this mix between the day and the night and the heavens and the earth, and that mix of like, there's sacrifice and there's grit. There's like, we think of sacrifice as divine, but we think of like hard work as just like this manly grit thing. But when you put those together, I mean, that's that. Oh, I don't even know what you would call that, but just the essence of creation, I guess.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And the pinks in between the white and the black. I go out almost every day, and I go out and I watch the sunsets. I have a beautiful west view from my porch.
Yes, to watch the sunsets.
And I go out almost every day to watch the sunsets because there's something so beautiful between the day and the night. And I told my son one day, we were sitting there, and I said, hey, son, one day I'm going to be so old I can't walk out of the door by myself. And I want you to take me out to watch the sunset every day. And he's like, I got you, Dad.
That's awesome.
I'll do that for you. I'll take you out every night, and you can watch the sunset. Because there's something that we see in ourselves when we find that beautiful space between heaven and earth, between light and darkness, between the known and the unknown. And it's something worth exploring, and I love that just in this short 2-second image that we're looking at right here, just from looking at it, we get to explore that. And of course, we get the lyrics and everything else with it, but all right. Keep going.
내가 도망칠 수 없게 꽉 쥐고 나 흔들어줘 내가 정신 못 차리게 Keep me on the beat 수많은 빛 너라는 감옥에 중독되게 네가 아닌 다른 사람 섬기지 note 알면서도 삼켜버린 독이듯
Okay, that was a beautiful verse. I was in a relationship in high school that I have never defined as toxic, but everyone around me defined it as toxic as it was going on. So I'm probably going to say they were right.
Like our relationship.
Yeah, like our totally toxic here. But watching this, and it's like, I'm in the jail of you. I'm tied up. Just take me away. I've felt that. I know how powerful that pull is. Even if you're in a relationship that everyone around you is saying is bad, it's like, but is it though? Mm-hmm. It feels so good. And sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and it reminds me too, like, of this theme of sacrifice, right? Where you're like, you're creating something greater than what you think you could.
Yes.
And you're like, dude, it doesn't seem real with how much is being taken from me, but how much is coming out of it. You know what I mean? And it's like, hold me tight, like, don't let me wake up. Don't let me come to my senses.
Yeah.
Don't let me start thinking logically here. Let me just do this. Let me just like plow through this blood, sweat, and tears and make something happen. If you guys are enjoying this review so far and you want to catch more, go ahead and subscribe to our channel because, not gonna lie, you kind of got us hooked on BTS now. So we're kind of making these regularly. So go ahead and subscribe. Stay tuned. And let's see how this goes.
Real quick, is it just me who's like, I see the comment saying, you should watch this. And I'm like, I want to watch this, but I should probably save it for reaction.
I know. It is. That's right. That's right. All right, do it for the people.
For the people.
The blindfold, that's also like
The
a bond.
leash?
Yeah,
Yes.
leash. Okay, that aside for a second, because that's such a cool image. I've never seen anybody do that. That is so innovative, like from an artistic standpoint. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm just like, wow, what a cool image to sit and ponder over. But one of the things that I really like about BTS is, and this is going to sound a little weird compared to things I've said before, but I like that they are free and willing to move in all kinds of ways. You get a lot of feminine movements, like what might be viewed as like feminine movements. And I think that in a lot of masculinity, there is femininity lacking. Not in all cases.
Especially from where we're coming from the Western perspective, yes.
Right, or especially from, so I'm from Alaska, okay? Alaska's like the, you kill or be killed, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you kill to eat
Go
your food.
kill the
and-
bear.
Yeah, so like, there's, it's like you're this or you're that. And I'm not saying like, I'm not talking about like gender fluidity, stuff like that. That's a whole other thing. But what I am talking about is like, each person is a mix of yin and yang, you know?
Yes.
Like each person is a mix of like masculine traits and feminine traits and feelings and actions and thoughts and all these things like that we think of. I think really they're human traits. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're full of human traits that we tend to assign masculine or feminine.
Yes.
And I like that these guys are having some of these more like fluid movements and not just the sharp ones, but it mixes it, right? You get both. And one of the things that I have to say, and I've said this before, and I'll probably say this every single time we watch one of these, is they are so good at capturing the whole person, the human experience, parts of the human experience. It's not just like, this is for men or this is for women. It's like, this is for people. If you're a person, like, this is for you. And I just really like that about them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
I'm not trying to like be
really
like, I
impressive.
love everything and like I don't like dislike anything. I mean, these are cool things that they're doing well.
Yeah.
He too was a tempter. He too was a link to the second. The evil world with which I no longer wanted to have anything to do.
Did it just change completely on us? That change was so stark, I thought I had accidentally started playing something else on my computer. It just happened to be right where we paused.
Let's go. We're going back to these beginning themes here.
But they're leaving.
내 피땀
All right, before the song kicks back in, I gotta absorb what just happened there. So first off, the music starts playing from the organ. Everyone runs out, except for two. One covers the main character of this scene, his eyes from behind, opens up, and and there's this dark wing figure that wasn't there before, hasn't been there the whole time, and it was so beautiful. It was like, what was going through my mind, I watched it and went, there is a darkness in every human heart, including mine. When you're alone, it shows up. It's there. But it is not necessarily evil that it is there. And instead of pushing all of that out, learning what it is that is causing that to be there and accepting that as a part of yourself, which you could see him doing when he walked up to this figure, touching it and then kissing the figure on the lips and exposing the wings coming out of the back, showing this figure is me. This figure isn't some artistic portrayal. This is me. Oh, it's beautiful.
So there are some things that I see and I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's explain this. Let's share thoughts about this.
It's hard to really describe.
Let's share cognitions about this. Watching that scene. Sorry, Ellie. That was visceral for me.
Yeah.
There have been only a few times in my life where I have walked into a place or seen a work of art and been touched like that. Can't believe I'm reacting like this to K-pop. Holy cow. One of the places Chase and I went to in Norway was called Vigeland Park.
If you ever go to Norway, do not miss Vigeland Park.
Vigeland Park is this beautiful place in Oslo, carved by this artist who spent decades carving these sculptures.
His life's work.
And there are things there that, yes, you can talk about it, but the art transcends our words. And instead of thinking about it, instead of it being thought-provoking, it is emotion-evoking.
Yes.
It strikes something inside you, whether you feel it here or here, wherever it is. There are certain types of art that you feel, you don't think. They don't get you, oh, that reminds me of this. No, they just do something to you. And I have never, ever felt that from watching a music video in my entire life until right now.
We watch a lot of music videos here.
These guys are not just musicians. These guys are artists. And this is real. This is what art is.
Okay. So I think everyone can understand that this... How do I put this? If anyone was wondering if we were watching and praising BTS just because we thought it would get clicks, that kind of reaction isn't something we have the acting props to fake.
I wish. I wouldn't be doing this job if it was.
I know. That was incredible. Going back to Vigeland, there's a moment in Vigeland we've both cried about just seeing it. And so when I walked through it the first time, it was his second time through it. But the centerpiece of the park is a fountain, and around the fountain there are statues that go through the process of life and giving birth and family and young love and down to you growing old. And then after the person who you've gone through this whole cycle has grown old, they become part of the tree that the entire thing has been taking place on. The idea that we have been building on building blocks that we have all been building for each other for generations. Just so unbelievably evocative and touching. I cannot stress enough, if you enjoy art in any way and ever are in Oslo, Norway, go to Vigeland Park
Yeah.
and just walk around the centerpiece a couple times. You cannot help but just be absolutely moved in the same way that this is just so moving.
You know, they're probably thinking like, they got tissues. They were like totally gonna do that. I was like, no, we had the tissues for lunch. We just had lunch down here just like an hour ago. We needed to wipe our hands because we were eating American style ribs. Anyway, I barbecue. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm going to back up just a few seconds to watch just the end where he turns around and then get back into that.
내 피땀 눈물
And again, I'm just gonna say there are forms of art and there are messages and stories and videos that are about, hey, here's this message I want to tell you. Here's this this theme I want to share. Here's this idea I want to develop. And then there are forms of art that transcend that and connect with people in a deeper way. And I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked by my response to this video, this music video, this song and everything. This was a very special experience for me, and I did not expect to be going into this saying that at all.
I expected, after the last couple of videos that we've done watching BTS music videos, I think you and I both came into this assuming that we would see something that we enjoyed and was a very well done piece of art.
Right, a well done production.
Yeah, I did not expect to walk into it, or I don't think you can ever expect to walk into something with the expectation that you are going to be truly moved, because the pieces of art that create that feeling of pure awe, that is something far deeper than words can describe, are few and far between. It takes true effort, and name of the song, blood, sweat, and tears to create something of that magnitude. And that, thank you to everyone who recommended that song.
Yeah. Whew. All right, if you still haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, we do a whole bunch of exclusive stuff, especially things related to this, over on thetacshow.com. That's the TACshow.com. Subscribe over there to get tons of exclusive content. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Let us know in the comments what else you'd like us to react to, because to be very honest with you, we've been following this path that you guys have given us.
You're laying out the golden bricks in front of us as we walk on the yellow brick road here.
You got me all like... Anyway, head over to thetacshow.com, leave a comment, share this with your friends, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank you so much. Por ahí! Are we on? We're on. Okay. I didn't know we were on. That's so funny.
I thought you were actually starting, and then you go...